Hello everyone, my name is Gurdas Sinha and welcome to Political Science Pro. In the previous video, we learned how India got its first Constituent Assembly, what was the process, who contributed to it. In today's video, we are going to know the composition of the Constituent Assembly. Alright, let's begin. The Constituent Assembly was constituted in November 1946. Remember the year? The Constituent Assembly was constituted in November 1946 under the scheme formulated by the Cabinet Mission Plan. Okay. In the previous video, we also learned that the Cabinet Mission Plan came to India and they formulated a scheme to provide the Constituent Assembly, right? So, under the scheme, the Constituent Assembly got formed in November 1946. The Constituent Assembly had a total strength of 389 members, out of which 296 seats were to be allotted to British India and 93 seats to the princely states. So remember the distribution. The total strength was 389, and out of which 296 seats to the British India and 93 seats to the princely states. Each province and princely state were to be allotted seats in proportion to their respective population. It means each province and princely state will be allotted seat in proportion to their population. Example, a state which has a big population will get many seats, whereas a province which has less population will get less seats, right? I'll give you a current example, like Uttar Pradesh, a state of India, have a lot of member of parliament, have a big number of member of parliament. Why? Because it also has a very big population, whereas a state like Nagaland of India has only one member of parliament. Why? Because it has a very small population. Alright, so the seats of the Constituent Assembly will be allotted in proportion to their population. The representatives of each community were to be elected by members of that community in the provincial legislative assembly. This means that a Hindu will basically elect their own representatives. A Muslim will basically elect their own representatives, and it will be the system of electing representatives will be different as it is currently prevailing, right? It was very much communal, like Hindus will elect their own representatives, Muslims will elect their own representatives, Christians will elect their own representatives. So this was the process of electing their representatives. Okay, let's move forward. And the voting should be done by the method of proportional representation. Okay, when I say voting by the method of proportional representation by means of single transferable votes, see, the voting process of the members who will be in a Constituent Assembly, it's going to be in a method of proportional representation by means of single transferable votes. It means that the voting process is going to be indirect. Okay, the elections are going to be indirect. For example, when we say direct elections and indirect elections, it means when there are Lok Sabha elections held, when elections by which the Lok Sabha members get elected, that is called a direct elections. Why? Because in that election, every person who is 18 plus have the right to vote. And whereas in a indirect election, it means when a president of India or the vice president of India are elected, uh, we the citizens don't actually vote, but we vote the MPs, we vote the MLAs, and the MLAs and MPs, they elect the president and the vice president. So this process of election is known as the indirect elections. Okay, so remember, when you hear this word in proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, it means it is a indirect election. The process how the president and vice president are elected in India. All right. While the representatives of the princely states were to be nominated by the heads of the princely states, when it comes to the princely states, there will be no elections. The heads of the princely states will directly nominate the representatives of the princely states. All right. The Constituent Assembly is partly elected and partly nominated body. Of course, why? Because we see that in regard to princely states, there are no elections, whereas in regard to the provincial British India area, there are going to be elections. Although it is indirect elections, but there are going to be elections. So we got to see that the Constituent Assembly is partly elected and partly nominated body. The election to the Constituent Assembly were held in July 1946. Remember the date, remember the year. The election to the Constituent Assembly were held in July 1946. The Indian National Congress won 208 seats, the Muslim League won 73 seats, and the Independent got the remaining 15 seats. However, the 93 seats allotted to the princely states were not filled, as they decided to stay away from the Constituent Assembly. Well, the princely states before 1950s, 1960s, some were not in interest to be the part of the Union of India. There was a big struggle. Of course, the government of India did try a lot, some by force, some not by force, to merge them with the Union of India. So at the beginning, they were not in a mood to be a part of the Constituent Assembly, but later we also get to see that they were a part and they did play a role in a framing of constitution as well. Well, this is a very simple topic. There is not much of explanation required, but there are some terminologies which requires explanation, like the proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. That simply means it is a mode of indirect elections, whereas proportional seats will be allotted to in proportion to the respective population. That is also, as I explained earlier, the seats will be allotted in according to their population. Bigger state, bigger seats. Small populations, lesser seats. All right, this is a very easy topic. In my next video, I will come with the working of the Constituent Assembly. I hope you get it. Yeah, done. See you in the next video.